what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Repster, where movies and entertainment are our reputation. So, Fast and Furious. Now, wait, did I say Fast and Furious? I meant Torque. Was released in 2004. It was directed by Joseph Kahn. And the story follows a biker who returns from Thailand to set things straight with his girlfriend, only to be set up for a murder of a gang leader's brother by another gang leader who wants his two motorbikes that's filled with crystal meth. I'm not going to say that not everything in this film is going to be kosher, because this definitely was an eye-opener. Yes, there are some positives I'm going to throw in it, but there's going to be a bunch of negatives, so sit back and enjoy. So let's get into the positives of Torque. First and foremost, the look and feel of this film. Peter Levi did a really good job, I do admit. It was very well done in terms of lighting. The coloring and the stamina and the smoothness is very glossy. I actually liked the way this film looked. I mean, it looked really expensive, but it was made on a low budget. I believe it was for like $40 million or something like that. Probably cheaper than what Fast and Furious was made for. But it looked pretty good. I liked the way it looked. Like I said, Peter Levi, I think he did a really good job in terms of lighting and the camera angles and all that. Now let's talk characters. Most of them were decent. Not all, but most of them are decent. Most notably, Martin Henderson, who plays Carrie Ford, the protagonist of this film and the one who gets framed for murder. I thought he did a really good job. He's one of those, you'd expect kind of guys to be like all tough and smug, but he's a good guy. Not as good as Vin Diesel, but he was good enough in this film. He was good enough for the tone of this film anyway. Great performance. And we got Ice Cube, rapper/actor Ice Cube, who plays Trey Wallace, the leader of the Reapers gang and whose brother was killed. I thought he killed it in this film. I like his acting. I think Ice Cube has really gotten down to a T. Now remember, this was in the early 2000s. He was just starting off, I believe. He was doing, I believe, Are We Done Yet? And Are We There Yet? And I think a year after this film was made, he moved on to XXX State of the Union, which was the second one in that franchise, which I thought he did a good job in as well. But I think he killed it in this film. He killed this part in this film pretty well. He wasn't really necessarily a bad guy, but he was a gang leader that thought that the protagonist, Martin Henderson's character, killed his brother. So of course he was going to go out looking for revenge. But you don't really see that as a bad guy, because you look at a character like the Punisher. He's actually a good guy, but he was all set in revenge. And just nothing but that. But he was still an anti-hero. So that's kind of what Ice Cube's character kind of thrown off in this film. But I know that's kind of silly to compare to, but that's the vibe I got. But later on, he does figure everything out, so it worked out for the best. And I gotta talk the similarities between this film and Fast and Furious. Oh my God, there was so many. Which brings me to the negatives. By this point, the same year this movie came out, Too Fast, Too Furious was released. The first one was released in 2001. But they were wanting to make this film so much alike, only with motorcycles. There was many references and thematic tones to this film that was in Fast and Furious. And I think that's where they really screwed up. And what's funny is, director Joseph Kahn actually intended it to be this way. He said, and I quote, "I'm going to make a piss take of Fast and Furious," meaning mock, scoff, joke, and ridicule. And that's pretty much what this movie did to that film, to the Fast and the Furious, most notably the first one. Now there's a bunch of references, like in the beginning. They had a drag race when the main protagonist shows up on his bike between these two cars. It opens up like a Fast and Furious movie. Like they try to race that gas station, and then they get in a quarrel later on, but there was a street race at the beginning, and it shows a certain shot which was really, really important to the Fast and Furious films until later on, where it shows a suck-in shot. I don't know what you call those shots, but that's my own term for it. A suck-in shot of the engine whenever he pushes the NOS button to go faster. You get a slip-in shot of the engine just firing up and going fast. They did that a lot in this film, as they did in the Fast and Furious. And that was like two of the references. most notably, another reference was when the main protagonist walks off and he says, "I live my life a quarter of a mile." Who said that before? Oh, right, it was Vin Diesel. And then what's funny is, and this is how tongue-in-cheek this film was, and I think this is the moment where you knew that this movie kind of knew what it was, as cheesy as it was, but the girlfriend then, in response to what he just said, says, "That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard." It's just a lot of references to the Fast and Furious. And like I said, they were making a mockery of it. They were making jokes and ridiculing it. Oh, man. And, and another funny thing is, this movie was actually produced by the same producer that did Fast and Furious. So, you have that. And the action sequences was crazy. Not all of them was bad, but particularly the finale act between the protagonist and the antagonist. Oh my gosh. They get on those bikes and they start racing down the highway and God knows wherever they were at. And those bikes go so fast that the camera angles, the wide angle shots, and all of this stuff is happening at the same time. And it goes so fast. They have to have been going like 200, maybe 300 miles per hour, which is uncanny. And at the same time, they're shooting at each other, firing off their guns. And then you have like these cheesy dialogues in between some of the other characters that are fighting all. And it's just nuts in a really, really dumb way. And it goes so fast that when they're chasing each other, when the protagonist and the antagonist, which is actually played by Matt Schulze, which was also in the Fast and Furious movies, in Fast and Furious 1 and Fast 5. And, by the way, he plays a really good villain in this. I should have mentioned that earlier, but moving on. This scene goes so fast that you can't even tell what's going on. And before I knew it, it was over with. I don't even know what happened to the bad guy. I think he got slung over and got impaled or something, but they couldn't show much because this is a PG-13 movie. But it happened so fast that I was like, what the hell happened to the villain? Okay, I guess we're moving on. It was just so freaking nuts. And it's just so over the top that I just couldn't help but laugh. I couldn't help but giggle. And it was just over before I knew it. Honestly, I feel like you have to be a little bit high to enjoy this movie. Just a little bit. Nah, okay. Screw it. A lot. And the story, there wasn't much there. It was just about this guy who's wanting to set things straight with his girlfriend, who then gets framed for murder. But the way they presented this movie, it just wasn't that much substance there. That much stamina. They just didn't give it a chance. Plus, the length of this movie didn't really help either. This movie clocks in at like 1 hour and 24 minutes. That's not long at all. That's like how long a kid's movie is usually. It just wasn't much there. And because of that, the tone and pace kind of suffered for it. Because that's how cheesy it was. In closing, the movie wasn't bad, I do admit. But it wasn't horrendous. There are still moments to be had. But still, I would stick with Fast and Furious. That's just me. For all its cheesiness and silliness, Torque combines all the things that makes a great action film, then turns it into a silly, dumb knockoff. However, there are moments to be had, but very little. It's a sour afterflavor. So, Torque, what are your thoughts on this? Did you like the comparable attributes that it gave the Fast and Furious films, or did you think it was just really dumb and really silly and really cheesy? Leave me your comments down below and give me your thoughts. Stay tuned for more videos and reviews coming soon. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Like, subscribe, and comment if you hadn't already. And I will see you on the flip and on the next video. Peace, the Rep out.